Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with selections for Saturday the 29th of October. Well, this could be quite a long video. I'm going to try my best to talk you through it as simple as possible. Unfortunately, Skybet don't make it that easy because they actually spread all your bets around through your account. So I'm going to talk you through it. The total stake for Saturday is £52.20. If you do not normally stake that, what I would recommend is reducing the stakes on a percentage wise, but try and include all the bets. So obviously, if you want to just place 50% of my stake, obviously that would be £26.10p. If that's more to your liking. So all you need to do is split every single stake, as you can see here, by half when you place the bet. So I'm going to scroll down, and obviously you can see the football bets are first. Well, I like to joke, but this is let's call this a possibly life-changing bet. Right, potentially, what I've gone for 3 matches, all with potentially a bit of needle in the match. I've gone for 25 pence doubles and 25 pence trebles. And this is what I've done. So I've chosen the Bristol City and Swansea match. And all I've done, I've clicked on the market called cards. I've scrolled down to the market, a player sent off. Select it, obviously, as you can see, at 3-1. Then a little bit further down on the same market, you will see each team to have a player sent off. So basically, you want a player from both sides. You want to, like I said originally, a lot of needle in the match. So you want a sending off, but that's the minimum that you want, because a sending off in that match, a sending off in one of the other matches should just about cover the stake. But what you're hoping for it to kick off big time. So yeah, Bristol City and Swansea. The next match is West Brom and Sheffield United. And the third match is Fulham versus Everton. Well, Everton, they're a bit of a dirty side, or can be. They've got like Mason Holgate. They've got, I can't remember his name now. Is he the 6'8"? Is it Colombian? He tends to leave his elbows knocking around, and well, I can just imagine him trying to ruffle Mitrovic up a bit, because if they do, and they can get Mitrovic sent off, let's not forget that Everton are probably going to be down there in a bit of a relegation scrap. Well, what better way to cause problems for one of your, let's call it, competitors, opponents, than Fulham missing their main striker for potentially 3 matches if it gets a straight red. I know I'm looking a bit too far into it, but this is potentially how these teams could think. So basically, you can see what I've had: 25p doubles, 25p trebles, Bristol City match, a player sent off, and each team player sent off. West Brom, a player sent off, each team a player sent off. Fulham match, a player sent off, and each team a player sent off. That, for my bet, is a total of £3 for the doubles and a total of £2 for the trebles. So I'll just quickly scroll down. Right, this is the second part of the horse racing bet. So I'm going to scroll down to the original bit. Right, so here we have a 10 pence each way, lucky 15. Right, at Newmarket, I've looked at the going was good last year. Well, it's good to soft currently at Newmarket. There is a bit of rain forecast overnight, not loads, but it could change the ground very slightly. So what I've gone for is I've gone for high numbers, because I looked at the card last year, and not in every race, but it did favour. I think it was the first race where it wasn't in this order, but the first 5 were from stalls 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Obviously not in that order, but the high numbers dominated. Well, also, Roger Varian and a number of top stables were also represented, and they're once again represented again. And to be fair, it's a matter of trying to pick the right ones. Well, I like the look of these, so let me get into it. It's a 10 pence each way lucky 15 and a 50 pence each way accumulator. The first selection is one to plant a tree at 17 to 2 in the 3 minutes past 1 at Newmarket. The second selection is Graceful Storm at 50 to 1 in the 138 at Newmarket. I would have really preferred this to be an extra place race, but it never really was going to be because they tend to pick the handicaps. But this horse's form on the all-weather, well, if you go by the Racing Post ratings, it's as good as, I can't remember what it is now. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll click on it just so you know. I'll tell you which horse I compared it against. It had a Racing Post rating of 63 and 65, Graceful Storm did, compared to Liberalist, which I believe had a Racing Post rating of 67. And you've got a horse here at 6 to 1, and my selection is 50s. I'm not saying it'll win, but I do like the look of it. And also, it's drawn 12, which is also high numbers. So let me just quickly spin back to the actual bet itself. Sorry for the extra long video. I want to be really quick, or as quick as I can from now on. Right. So the third selection is Quantum Light at 17 to 2 in the 13 minutes past 2 race, paying 3 places instead of 2 at Newmarket. This one's Ralph Becky, who had a very good result on the card last year. And finally, the fourth selection is Dawn Vega at 10 to 1 in the 248 at Newmarket, paying 4 places instead of 3. Right, this bet is also part of another bet. So it's 24 pence each way doubles. And let me go down. Basically, I've included quite a few big price selections. This is the main bet. But I'll scroll down because the main bet is a 10 pence each way, lucky 63. But also, as you put the bet on, you need to type in 24 pence each way doubles. And I've just added a small 10 pence each way sixfold. So the selections are, as I mentioned before, Graceful Storm at 50 to 1 in the 138 at Newmarket. In the 158 at Ayr, Sword of Fate at 10 to 1, paying 4 instead of 3. In the third selection is Highway 102 at 9 to 1 in the 5 past 2 at Ascot, and that's a money back special. The fourth selection is Monsieur Lecoq at 7 to 1 in the 240 Ascot, paying 4 instead of 3. This horse actually was awarded this race last year. It's in okay form. It's had a reappearance run. I expect it to run a decent race. The fifth selection is Kitty's Light at 11 to 1 in the 315 at Ascot, paying 5 places instead of 3. This horse actually ran this day last year, but not at this card. It ran in the Charlie Hall Chase at Wetherby. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the final selection is Riot at 10 to 1 in the 8 minutes past 5 race at Newmarket, paying 6 places instead of 4. If you had to pin me down for a nap, based on the draw, I would go for Riot at 10 to 1. But don't get me wrong, there's an awful lot of interesting selections which I really like the look of. Right, this is the football bet. So basically, I've had a £10 over 2.5 goals bet, a £4.20 over 3.5 goals bet, and a £2 over 4.5 goals bet. Now, I know a lot of you won't like the football bet, but what I'm saying is, if you put the £10 over 2.5 goals treble on, if that actual bet comes up, it pays for the entire day. It covers all your horses, and you win £7, regardless of what any of your horses do. But please bear with me. I'm not saying this over 2.5 goals bet is going to come up. It's just 3 teams or 3 matches that I fancy to be more than 2.5 goals. So It's the same 3 teams every time. So let me scroll down to the over 2.5 goals there. So here we are. So a £10 treble, over 2.5 goals treble, the Mansfield match, the Bournemouth match, and the Charlton match. And then I'm going to scroll back up, and then it's a £4.20 treble, over 3.5 goals treble, Charlton match, Bournemouth match, Mansfield match, and then finally the big one, £2 treble, over 4.5 goals treble, Mansfield match, Bournemouth match, and Charlton match. And then finally there's another bet. We're nearly there now. So this is just a 50p each way painting. The first selection in the 323 at Newmarket, paying 4 places instead of 3, is Garley at 9-2. I believe this horse has been put away for today. It hasn't run for 99 days, but I find it I think it's extremely well, or potentially well handicapped. I find it odd that they waited so long. I'm basically guessing they've been waiting for the ground to change. Although its last 2 runs, which were quite decent, excuse me, were on quite quick ground, but it has shown decent form on slower ground. The second selection, I'm probably still going to say this wrong, Kinnairfan at 11-1 in the 358 at Newmarket, paying 4 places instead of 3. This is Mick Shannon's. Mick Shannon had the second in this race last year, called Flash Betty at 80-1. This horse has shown, all of a sudden, showed a massive improvement in form. 2 runs ago, it beat Misty Blue, ran a racing post rating of around 71, I think it was, or 78, somewhere around there. I think about 71. Last time, it ran an absolute cracker at Pontefract. Yeah, held up slightly off the pace, but came with a really strong run. I believe it came second, but then it shot up. Its racing post rating for that race shot up right up to 91. Well, I looked at the favourite for this race, and it's, don't get me wrong, the more fancied horses have ran far less than this horse, but even the favourite had only achieved a racing post rating, I believe, of 88. So this horse has actually already achieved more than most of these horses. It's just that the more fancied horses, the book is currently perceive them as being a bit more progressive, or potentially progressive. But I like the look of this one at 11-1, especially seeing as the trainer had second in this race at 8-1 last year. And finally, once again, the nap of the day is Riot at 10-1 in the 8 minutes past 5 race, paying 6 places instead of 4. This is David O'Meara and also Daniel Tudhope, who have been doing very well in the handicaps this year, especially David O'Meara. But also, Daniel Tudhope does ride Garley, which is technically the second string for Sayyid bin Sarur in the 323 at Newmarket. So those are, let me just double check. Yep, those are all the bets for Saturday. I feel like I've covered everything, but you've got plenty to go out there. I've been waffling on for 13 minutes now. If you've got to the end, just put a yes in the comments. Let's see who's actually managed to stay to the end. I think even I struggled towards the end to stay till the end. So those are all the selections. £52.20. As you can see, I'm on. So if you're sat at home cheering these on tomorrow, just bear in mind, I shall be cheering them on as well. So fingers crossed, the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.